Slope-intercept form. So now that we kind of have an idea of what slope is, the rate of change between any two points, we're going to look at slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. In this equation, m is still your slope. It tells you the rate of change and how fast your graph is either growing or decreasing. B is going to be your y-intercept. So if you take a look at the example that we have sitting over here, 0b is your y-intercept, y equals mx plus b is your line, and then whatever your slope is, your m, in this case it would be negative, so you'd probably have some negative value sitting here in front of your x. Now, a constant function, once again, is going to be your y equals b. So this is your horizontal line, and this is a slope of 0, and this is once again when your x value equals 0. Or not, actually, I'm going to get rid of that. I actually don't like that. It's not when x equals 0. It's when your slope is 0. So when you come back up here, if your slope is 0, then essentially your x value is going to disappear. It's not when x is 0. I apologize. It's when this is going to disappear, and you're just going to have y equals b. Example 3. Find the slope and y-intercept of the graph of each linear equation. Then graph the function. So if we take a look, this is in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. So your slope is always your coefficient in front of your x. So the slope here is going to be -6. Your y-intercept is your b value, which is your constant value sitting at the back. So b equals 1. Now, the way this works, and I'm going to put this in parentheses, y-intercept, is we're going to come over to our graph, and we're going to put our y-intercept right here at 1. That's our starting point. Now, from there, we're going to use our slope, which is -6. Now, keep in mind that your slope is rise over run. But you notice this is only one number, it's not a fraction. So how do we make a whole number into a fraction? And the answer is you put it over 1. So this is -6 over 1. So we're going to put our pencil on our dot at 1, and we're going to quote rise -6. Well, if you're actually rising -6, are you actually rising or are you falling? So you actually want to go down. So from here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're going to run 1, and that's a positive 1. So we're going to run in the positive direction, and we're going to put a dot. Now, the way slope works, and anytime you graph a line, you should have 3 dots. Unless you're graphing with intercepts, because there's only 2 intercepts, I really, really, really want 3 dots. So we're just going to do it again. So we're going to fall 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we go off the graph. Well, we could kind of do that. Go one more, and then run 1, which means there's a dot sitting right here. But if I go off the graph this way, doesn't my line also go this way? So you can kind of do the opposite, and you could go up 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But now, instead of running positive, we're going to run negative, and we're going to have a dot right there. Okay, so you can kind of like go the opposite direction once you figure out what's going on. Then I'm going to grab my line. I'm going to try my best here. I've got to connect all of them. And then because this is not a story problem, we do want to put arrows on this, because this line does go forever in both directions. Letter B, y equals 8. Now, if we look at y equals 8, We have to find a slope and we have to find a y-intercept. So that's y equals mx plus b. Do you guys see an x value? So really what's happening here is you have y equals 0x plus 8. Isn't 0x just 0? And then we have our 8. So we could rewrite it like this. So our slope is what's in front of our x. We have a slope of 0. And then our b, which is our y-intercept, is 8. So I'm going to go to my y-intercept. I'm going to put a dot at 8. And then I have a slope of 0. So I know I just said that we should use 3 points, but because it's a slope of 0, I'm just going to draw it. And then arrows in both directions. Do you guys remember when we did horizontal lines? If y is 8, I said that means x could be anything. So let's see. X is 2, y is 8. X is 6, y is 8. X is negative 8, y is 8. That's making a horizontal line. Letter C, x plus 4y equals negative 10. Now, this one is actually in standard form, but right now we're practicing in slope-intercept form. So if I want it in slope-intercept form, I need it to look like y equals mx plus b. So step 1, we have to solve this equation for y. Subtract x from both sides. 4y equals, we have a negative x, we have a negative 10. I'm going to choose to put the x first, so negative x minus 10. Then we're going to divide by 4. Make sure you divide everything by 4. So y equals, we have negative x over 4. Now, if you can't see a coefficient in front of the x, there's a 1 hiding. So this is negative 1/4 x minus 10/4. And then there's one more thing I'm going to do with this, and it's this 10/4. I'm going to simplify it. So y equals negative 1/4 x minus, if I divide by 2, I'm going to get 5. If I divide by 2, I'm going to get 2. So negative 5 halves. Then we have to find our slope and our y-intercept. So our slope is sitting right in front of our x, so negative 1/4. And then our y-intercept is negative 5 halves. And again, y-intercept. Now we're going to try our best on this one. It's going to get a little hairy just because of what we're dealing with. We're going to start with our y-intercept, negative 5 halves. If you put that into your calculator, that's really negative 2.5. So we're going to go to negative 2.5. Okay, try to put it on there as best you can. Now our slope is negative 1/4. So we're going to rise negative 1 and run 4. Now again, if you're rising negative 1, you're really dropping 1, running 4. So because we're at a half, we have to drop a whole down to that half, and then we're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to put us right there. And then we're going to do it again. So we're going to drop 1 and run 1, 2, 3, 4, which is going to put us right there. Good luck with all those halves. And then we're going to grab our straight line, and we're going to do our best to connect those. I'm going to have to reposition my line. There we go. That's a little better. And then put our arrows on both ends, and we're done.